I've reverse engineered some of the biggest creators' accounts anywhere on LinkedIn, YouTube, Substack, you can name it. And not to copy, but to beat them, right? To create content on their level as quick as possible. And I did it with the one tool that you'd imagine everybody else is using, and a method nobody's probably using it for, because every time I show it to someone, they're just shocked anyway. But I'm going to do the whole thing right now on the channel for you, and not theory. We're going to walk it through, prompt, content grab, everything. It's going to be awesome. So let's get started. All right. So what we're going to do is drop into LinkedIn to start. Really straightforward. I promise this will take like just a couple minutes. You'll be amazed. And so what I'm going to do is we'll use my profile for this. You could use anybody's profile on LinkedIn for that matter. You could pick anyone. Find a creator you like, someone who resonates within your audience. This will help to give you a sense of how they build their content, how they funnel everything through their pipeline. You can do all sorts of crazy analysis based just off of this. So if on their profile, we're just using mine. So you get to see everything. I'm like an open book. What I'm going to do is scroll through a handful of posts just for the sake of this. And then we're going to stop just in a handful here. From this, I'm going to print the page and we're going to save it as a printed output, right? But we want to save it as a PDF. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to save it as a PDF. Then I'm going to make a second save. So the first save was just to give us a sense of what everything looked like before the more link in LinkedIn. Everything before more is ostensibly the hook, right? How do I bring people in? How do I click the emotional button? How do I get them to watch the whole video, right? That's why you're here, hopefully. And also, how do you get them to engage with your content at whole, right? And that's what we're here to do. We want to build engaging content to build a business and drive revenue and do other fun things, right? Build a list, go forth, conquer the world, whatever you want to do in there. But from that, what we're going to do is expand on this second pass and click on the more button for all of these that we've opened up. So it's going to take just a couple minutes of your time, as one should. Not everything can be done automatically. I'm sure I could write a Claude script to do this. But that being said, we open all of these up. We get a little bit further. I'm not going to go completely ham with it. But you want to open up a good sample size, right? You want to have enough samples, enough ideas of how people are building their content. We got back to the big one that I did too. And so that way we have a sense of everything, right? Good, bad, middle, maybe everything somebody posts is doing wonderful all the time. And so how do you figure out why quickly, right? And find the pattern and find the way that they're developing their content to do this. This also works for YouTube videos too. You can go into a YouTube video. You can grab all the transcripts for somebody. You can get all their thumbnails. It's a little bit more legwork, but transcripts, thumbnails, titles, if you get all of that, you get a better sense. On a video, it's different, but you get a better sense of how to draw people in, build the video, and then get them to the finish line, right? And so we're going to build all of that in. You can do this for this, Twitter, Substack, you name it. You could probably figure out how to do this. I think Reels, Shorts, those kinds of things on TikTok, Instagram too, would be a little bit more challenging, but not impossible to get this competitive research together. So after we've done this, again, we're going to hit print, save as a PDF, right? Really easy. You don't have to do a lot with these things. We're going to save it. It's probably going to give you like somewhere between 10 and 50 pages of content. This has the images, this has the text, this has CTAs, this has everything. LinkedIn works that way. Now, as we move to video within LinkedIn, you're not going to see this as much, obviously. So it's going to be different. So let's switch over to Claude now, and then we'll see how the analysis works from that point. All right. So we put everything inside of Claude, I skipped ahead a little bit while I was doing this, but what I asked it was analyze every single post inside of both of these files that we created. One of them has a preview of the post before someone clicks more. The second file is the entire post set as a user would see it beyond the see more, right? Have a review and give me a list of the top performing hooks and what content seems to resonate most for impressions and what content seems to resonate most for click-throughs. Sometimes that's different. And if you're building content for different sides of the algorithm, right, and you want to have stuff that's just getting eyeballs on it and grow your account size, or if your goal is something different, right, and you need click-throughs, you want to build business and generate revenue, that is a different goal too. So what we're going to do is both sides of this, right? So I've extracted all of it, it reads it, it analyzes 40 posts across both files, so really what it's doing. And then what it comes up with is these are your biggest hits of all time in two formats. There's the culture protecting is a Slack channel or a Zoom link, right? It says these are my top performing hooks. And they did do very well. You don't want a bigger title. You want a Tuesday at 2 p.m. That one did really well, right? Replaceable at work or irreplaceable at home. Same theme. You can see my themes. So as you do this, and then specific dollar amounts work really well too, right? I turned down $250K because of what Charlie Munger taught me. That just speaks to people's minds. It's money. It's Charlie Munger too, right? These things sound awesome when you find a winning hook. But then you can see from your competitor analysis what resonates with the audience. Now, obviously mine has impression counts in here. You will not get this when you're doing that competitive analysis. So what you would probably gauge it on is what the engagement looks like on the post, both from likes, comments, reposts, right? In terms of LinkedIn. On other platforms, you just got to think about what those higher engagement levels are. On YouTube, you get views. You know what the views look like. The thing you won't get out of the box is view duration, right? How long did somebody stay on the video? Did they watch the whole thing? And did they comment? That's gold, right? And so as you're doing that, that's what you're looking for. Then what resonates for impressions? Anti-corporate, job stuff. Everybody's losing their job right now. Hopefully you're not losing your job or you're in that place. I hate when people lose their job. But as you're in this economic landscape, people are trying to figure everything out. And so what it is showing you is that kind of content is resonating emotionally with people right now in this space. And actually it's useful for me to read these things too. Wealth and status, text to image quotes. That's just like my bread and butter on LinkedIn these days, but it does do well. Click-through findings, right? So you can see some of the posts that may not have a ton of impressions, but they get a lot of click-throughs. Is like I'm running a Maven course, and you're more than welcome to go listen in on the stuff. There will be links below. It's all free. There's a lot of free content in there. There's a paid course too if you want to listen to that too. And join me on this kind of journey. But high reach posts often get a lot of newsletter click-throughs because people aren't high intent buyers when they're on a big high reach post. If something goes viral, they're not there to buy. They're there to window shop and hang out. So as you're doing that, what it's also done for us is built out an entire spreadsheet, comments, reactions, reposts, engagements. And what it's doing is these are the top hooks, which is amazing to see, by the way. But these are the top hooks. These are the themes that have resonated really well with people in those capacities. These are the top hooks by resonance. This is stuff that draws people into my course, my different workshops, all the different stuff that I get paid to do. And so that's what draws people in to think about those things. Here are the top themes that I have and the average impression. Again, you won't get impressions, but have a look. Then format, you can see that images are pretty much everywhere. Text is a little bit more often. Again, smaller sample size, but gives you a sense of how that works. You can go as big as you want with this stuff as long as Claude will let you upload it, or ChatGPT or Gemini or whatever. They're all the same. But as long as they'll let you upload it, view it, understand it, then you can go from there. And basically from this point forward, you can start crafting posts. Now, this is where I say ethically steal these things, look at this, rewrite it for your audience, start to understand what works, right? Save yourself the time and go back and say, okay, if I'm looking to get more impressions and views, you don't want a bigger life. You want a Tuesday at 2 p.m., right? You want that feeling. And so as you're building your content, now you have a roadmap to get you to a place that works really well. For you, it might be, I turned down a $50,000 job as a fitness trainer in a gym because X, Y, Z, right? Or if we take a different one real quick, let's see. Stay locked into your growth and no time for noise. That pretty much works for anybody. Some of these hooks you can reuse, which is fair because it's agnostic. But when it gets into stuff that's resonant about my business, like my first 50 posts were embarrassing, not because I didn't know my subject, because XYZ. For you, it might be my first 50 clients were rough to work with. Here's what happened after that. My first 50 XYZ was crappy, but my second 50 was amazing. This is really why you would use this, right? You want to understand why you don't need to copy people anymore. You don't actually have to copy them, because usually if you just copy them, your videos are going to flatline anyway, or your content's going to flatline because it's not authentic, it's not you, it's not how you built the thing. So what you're doing is really understanding how great content works really quickly. Claude speeds this up exponentially. You can go really far, really fast, and it works for anything in the content landscape. This is where the nuanced version of you or me comes into play. I'm a nerd. I keep these like tridents around me. I have albums above me. I love music. I love all sorts of other things, right? So whatever's you has to come through the content. As you build more content, you're going to see this, you're going to understand how it works. And then you can see how other people are doing it so that you build your own landscape in the content sphere. People get drawn to you. They start to feel out who you are, but you understand the structure of great content, and it speeds up that entire process. And that's the difference between just using AI and ending up with AI slop and actually sounding human and yourself. So I hope this helped you tremendously. If you ever need anything, you know where to find me. I got a bunch of links down below, but I appreciate it. Thank you for watching. Talk to y'all later.